Now, time after time, the same thing happens when it comes to Drake. He doesn't drop music for a while, people start saying that Drake is now irrelevant, he finally drops music, and then the people who said that he was irrelevant start talking about him. And the cycle continues. Now, by this time, you most likely heard the Melody King Drake Kill His God's Plan track that he had been teasing for a couple weeks now. And then apart from the melodies, he gave us some straight up bars on his Diplomatic Immunity track. And once again, Drake is just showing us exactly why people actually listen to him. If you're coming to Drake for those straight up good vibes and melodies that'll get printed into your memory for the rest of your life, he's the right man. But of course, if you do need some straight up bars, then he's definitely the right man also. Of course, not always, but he'll at least give you a little bit of everything. I don't know what it is about Drake, but it seems like whenever he takes some time off from consistently dropping music, it feels like people aren't really talking about him, people don't really care about him, but when he does come back to drop something, the entire internet is talking about him. If you really think about it, Drake has now for almost an entire decade stayed relevant. Album after album after album, he's always been brought up in the conversations whether you want to admit it or not. Now of course, something like the ghostwriting topic definitely did hurt his legacy in terms of rap, and I've noticed a lot of core hip-hop fans don't really look at him the same way they used to, but the relevancy of Drake always seems to live on. And when Drake does come out with something, it's not always very innovative or top-notch per se like More Life, but he always seems to be exploring a different side of him in different times of his career when you least expect it, and he's definitely putting out that side of him to the world. To be honest, hearing something like Diplomatic Immunity kind of caught me off guard. At the level this guy's at, where he's absolutely killing most of these pop artists in terms of numbers, you would honestly think that he would give us another Controlla or another One Dance. Because think about it, if Drake came out and dropped two tracks that both had that One Dance feel to them, right there we would have two new hit songs that are most likely going to do extremely well. Now of course, God's Plan is a hit song, that's very much undeniable, but the fact that he did take a different route and give us two different sides of him when he could have just stuck to the formula that's working is what I really appreciate. But let's talk about Diplomatic Immunity and God's Plan for a little bit. So Diplomatic Immunity is basically Drake's current life in one track. We have some extremely braggadocious bars from Drake when he mentions his mansion that's currently being built for him, and then he's talking about how people are talking and opinions don't really matter because these statistics aren't really slowing down. I don't know what it is, but the wordplay on this track is kind of impressive. So impressive that, Quentin Miller, is that you again? You can tell me. Just go ahead and tell me, man. Obviously, I'm joking, and hopefully Quentin Miller had nothing to do with this track, but then we had a track like God's Plan. This is a track where Drake is kind of using the title track to explain that the path he's going to follow is God's plan. Now, there's a lot of people who are trying to take him away from that path, but he won't let him. Drake is kind of channeling his rapping voice more than singing, while at the same time delivering an extremely catchy hook. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. Yes, I really mean it. The hook is extremely catchy. And then he has a 3-second a cappella part at exactly 1 minute and 27 seconds into the song where he says, "She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mama, I'm sorry." I'm gonna have to say that that's probably the smoothest thing that I've heard from Drake in a while. I don't know what it is about this track that makes it so good. We do get to hear some of those older Drake vibes, while at the same time the track doesn't really remind me of anything that he's dropped before. Me personally, I think that he did an amazing job on both of these tracks, and for the people who think that Drake is fading into irrelevancy, I think you might want to consider that statement because Drake is definitely unstoppable. But what do you personally think about this whole topic of Drake being unstoppable? Cause to me it does seem like people kind of forget that just because Drake is not in the spotlight, that he's still actually relevant. And definitely let me know in the comment section below what you think about God's Plan and Diplomatic Immunity, and let's have a discussion about this. But as always, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about bringing together people like you who enjoy music and start a discussion on different topics like this. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, follow me on all my social media accounts, it's on the screen, and I'm out.